Yo, what is poppin', bagel bros? Welcome back to the Rant Rapids. This one comes from Neon Manta, who says, rant about soul versus soulless. Specifically, about what you think gives one piece of art, one piece of art of any kind, soul. Holy shit, I either read that very wrong or it was very confusingly worded. Be it a show, book, game, or even a YouTube video. And what makes something soulless? Then for funsies, talk about what you believe is your most liked soulless creator/creation and your most disliked soul-filled creator/creation. So, something interesting about soul versus soulless is, well, I guess I'll first define it. So what I would define soul as in art is the human element. So when a piece of art feels like it is made by a human, it has soul. And for the polar opposite of this, look at AI art. AI art is objectively soulless. It is the only kind of art that I would be able to call objectively soulless, in the sense that nothing with a soul, or what we perceive as a soul commonly, had any hand in it other than giving it a prompt, which I guess you could call some kind of soul if you really want to. I don't know, I wouldn't call it soul. And the lack of a soul is what makes AI art inherently worthless to me. I fucking hate it, right? I mean, for many reasons, many more ideological ones, but just from a personal, guttural perspective, AI art not having been made by a human, having no human element whatsoever typically, that inherently puts me off. And so the human element is something that a piece of art, borderline needs, at the very least, to be great. You could make something entertaining that is soulless. You could make something okay that is soulless. But at the end of the day, you need to have that human element. But this is where things get interesting. Because a piece of art that I would also consider soulless, or I guess more so a branch of art, is isekai. Most of them, anyway. There are good isekai out there, and isekai with a lot of soul, but most isekai is what I would consider to be soulless. But that's the thing. Isekai, objectively, a lot of it does have passion behind it. People who think it is worth something. The people who write isekai love what they do, on average. And this is something that Imose talks about. And one of my favorite pieces of commentary in Imose, where even though I think it goes way too far in defending isekai, nonetheless, it should be known that isekai, the people behind it, do love it. They love what they do. There's this character, Ui, in Imose, who writes an isekai. Shit writer! I'm sure I would hate her story if I wrote it. But she loves what she does. She is so passionate, and when her light novel gets cancelled, presumably for being fucking dog shit, she is devastated. It's heartbreaking, right? But I would still consider it soulless, which means that soul versus soulless isn't about what it literally, how much passion is literally put into it. It's about how much passion is perceived, and that is interesting to me. Because isekai is so derivative between its iterations that you often can't sense any individual personality. It is fundamentally a copycat of what came before it, which is why I would consider it soulless. Furthermore, they are often very poorly directed, very poorly animated, and so a lot of the individual personality of animators, of directors, that's also lost. Of storyboarders, of all the people who work on these shows, you watch it and you don't sense it. And that's what makes it soulless. However passionate the people who made it are, if they don't show that passion in a way that can be sensed by me, the viewer, it will register as passionless, even if it isn't. And that dichotomy is fascinating to me. But also, I'm sure that there are shows out there that are very distinct and individual and have a lot of personality put into them that the creator fucking hated making. That they are like, why am I even making art? This was so boring. I hated every second of it. I think it's worthless. And then I look at it and go, it's a 10 out of 10. So the closest thing to this disconnect that I can think of is Spy X Family. Or Spy Family, whether you want to pronounce the X or not, right? Tatsuya Endo infamously, this is something he made because it was marketable. He sat down with his editor and came up with this concept for a story that would appeal to everyone. Whereas Tatsuya Endo, if left up to his own devices, would have made something different, but the different things he made weren't as successful. And so in order to keep his career afloat, he was told to make Spy Family. And I don't think that Tatsuya Endo necessarily hates Spy Family, but at the same time I do, I can imagine him somewhat begrudging the position he is put into. And this is clearly not what he would have written if he had the choice. But Spy Family, to me, registers as a series with a fair bit of soul. It has a very distinct art style, plenty of good animation cuts, plenty of good directing. I think it registers as something with soul in it, even on a story level. I get some of Tatsuya Endo's more irreverent, goofy personality from it, where he has depicted all these spy scenarios and assassin scenarios. Well, mostly the spy ones have that little goofy edge to them. The assassin stuff is just hardcore, specifically in the second season. But, it is going back and forth between the serious stuff and the comedy, but in a way that gives it a certain personality, as well as, I was saying the assassin stuff is more, is more serious, but at the same time, Season 2 has Sickle and Chain Barnaby. Like, come on! He's Sickle and Chain Barnaby! You can't not love him. And, just for stuff like that, it has soul to me, right? No matter how much Tatsuya Endo may or may not begrudge the position he's put into. I'm sure he does have plenty of love for what he has crafted. But at the same time, once again, it's not what he would make if left up to his own devices. But I wouldn't call Spy Family soulless. So let's go to what would be my favorite soulless piece of art. Favorite is in air quotes, though, because, okay, so first starting with anime, the best thing I could come up with, legitimately, was fucking Nagatoro and Uzaki-chan, because, I think they both have fun characters. Generally speaking, they're not, neither of them are well directed, neither of them are well animated on average. Nagatoro's a bit better looking, but I know it falls apart in Season 2. I haven't watched Season 2. But I guess, I still think they have personalities, specifically Nagatoro, but they are derivative enough that you could say, well, it's soulful, but barely. It is like on that cusp, right? The cusp of being soulless, but it's like it has just enough oomph to it to make it a 7 and make it interesting, right? So that's the closest thing I can think of in anime. But on YouTube, it is a bit easier to suss out, because on YouTube, people are trying as hard as possible, it seems, to be soulless nowadays, because being soulless is marketable. Most people do not care about soul as much as I do. And so you get people like Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast videos are fucking soulless. There is not an ounce of personality to them. The only personality trait they have is hype. There is no space left in the video for contemplation, for reflecting on the video's themes. They don't even really have themes except for Mr. Beast nice and hype. And isn't this entertaining? Aren't you engaged? Have you been explosion sound affected enough to be engaged with this product? It is not even an art form. I hesitate to even call it a YouTube video. It is a product. It is a YouTube product. But it's entertaining. That's the thing. It is fun to a certain degree. You know, I occasionally watch Mr. Beast videos. I haven't watched his last... Hold on, let me go onto his channel, because I haven't checked it in a while. What was the last Mr. Beast video I watched? Alright, so we're looking here. 10 minutes to escape, or this room explodes. Wow, crazy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I haven't seen his past 8 videos, never mind. Wait, no, I think I saw Protect 500,000. Yeah, okay, I saw that one. So it's past 7. I haven't seen his past 7 videos. So yeah, that just goes to show that even though I call these videos entertaining, how soulless they are makes it so that I don't want to watch them. They are just too difficult to connect with. And like, they're uncanny. They are so inhuman, so as to be kind of subtly horrifying, for lack of a better term. You look at the thumbnails, and they are cartoonish. Like, they're... I just saw this video on his channel called I Saved 100 Dogs from Dying. It's a starving dog in the thumbnail, and there's like text saying dog number 100, as if it's some sort of game show. He's just looking pitifully at the camera, and then Mr. Beast has this like neutral expression like, yep, I guess this dog is dying. I guess that's what it is. Holy shit! Holy fuck! How have I not heard about this before? This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's so out of touch. Holy shit. But that's what Mr. Beast is. That's what his entire fucking channel is. It's just this inhuman corpse of a video paraded around as if it has life and personality and soul. It is the definition of soulless. The thumbnails are uncanny and cartoonish and don't resemble human reality, and this dying dog being paraded around in this thumbnail, enticing you to click, is the best metaphor that could possibly be given for it. And that is... Why am I on this tangent? Holy shit. I got so distracted by how bad that thumbnail was. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. But yeah, there is so much artifice to these videos that the emotions barely even register as real. And so that is what I would consider soulless. It is mass-marketed, it is personality-less, and it is inhumane. It does not have real, authentic emotions. It is difficult to connect with on the level of human empathy. Now, Mr. Beast is what I would call the poster child of soulless on YouTube. But there is another YouTuber who I like a little more, and who has a little more soul, but that I would still call wholesale soulless, and that is Dream. I must confess, Minecraft Manhunt is actually pretty entertaining. But my god, is it soulless. There is no actual emotional connection aside from hype, get hyped, be hyped. But it's not as overblown as Mr. Beast. It is not as inauthentic. And so there is something to connect to. There is a certain campiness to it. And so it's sort of in this middle ground, where I would call it overall soulless, but as opposed to something like Nagatoro, which is on the cusp of being soulless, but overall soulful, I would call Dream's content as being on the cusp of being soulful, but in the end, soulless. There is just a little too much emphasis on being blindly hype at everything, and a little too little, to be a bit redundant with my wording, not enough to latch on to in terms of, human connection. Now he doesn't fucking upload, except for him responding to the grooming allegations. So, yeah. I'm not subscribed to either of these guys, by the way. I don't subscribe to Soulless creators. Well, to be fair, I was subscribed to both of them at some time, but not for not for a while, because you get over the phase quickly, and you're like, actually, there's like too little to latch on to. So, yeah, I hope I've done a decent job of describing what soul and soullessness are. How do you put soul into your art? I guess that is going to be the last thing I talk about. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. I forgot something. What is my most hated? Soul-filled creator or creation? Let's go with that, baby, because I nearly forgot about it. So, my most hated anime that is filled with so much soul. I would have to say it is probably Serial Experiments Lane. There might be something else I'm just forgetting or blanking on, but as far as I can recall right now, that would be my most hated soul-filled creation. Because Serial Experiments Lane, to the people it's for, is the best anime of all time. I have seen plenty of AniList profiles give it a 10 out of 10. I cannot. It is slow, it is too metaphorical, you spend large stretches of the show, I haven't even finished it, you spend large stretches of the show not even really knowing what it's about. I got something out of it. I appreciate how it predicted a lot of internet culture, and I presume it goes even deeper into it after where I left off. But at the same time, it's just too bogged down in being this surrealist drug trip narrative that has too little to latch onto. I didn't really find Lane interesting as a character on a moment-to-moment basis. I'm sure if I made it to the end, I would find what she represented within the narrative to be interesting, but overall, no. I just couldn't really connect with it. But it does have personality. It has a lot of personality. It is super particular in terms of the character designs, the aesthetic, the directing. It's all there. It is all theoretically perfect, but it ain't for me. I can't say it's for me. So that is the answer to that question. So how do you put soul into your art? Well, first of all, diverge from the tropes. Do not follow them one for one. Instead, put your own spin on them that makes your personality show, right? And also, don't get so bogged down in being perfect and being clean, because so many YouTubers nowadays, they're like, I need the clean graphics, I need the, everything needs to be shaking so that we can overstimulate the viewer. Rough editing that has personality will always be better than smooth editing without personality. If you spend like 10 seconds on each minute of your video, obviously I'm exaggerating, but if you spend barely any time on your editing, but, I can tell you have a soul by looking at it, then that is fine editing for YouTube. And that's something I have to remind myself often, because I often get bogged down in like, oh, my editing has to be the most good. I have to put the most effort into it as possible. But, I need to tone it down for the sake of actually getting stuff out. So yeah, hope that rant was good. That's about it. See ya.